जीव जागो जीव जागो, गोरा छंदे बोले, कोटा निद्रा जागो माया, पिशाचेरा कोले। जीव जागो जीव जागो, गोरा चंदे बोले, कोटा निद्रा जागो माया, पिशाचेरा कोले। भाजिबो बोलिया एसे, संसारे बितारे, भूलिया रोहिली तुमी अविद्यारा बारे। बाजिबो भूलिया एसे, संसारे बितारे, भूलिया रोहिली तुमी अविद्यारा बारे। जीव जागो जीव जागो, गोरा चंदे बोले, कोटा निद्रा जागो माया, पिशाचेरा कोले। तुम्हारे लोईते अमी होइनु अवतारा, अमी भिना बंधुआरा, के आचे तुम्हारा। तुम्हारे लोईते अमी होइनु अवतारा, अमी भिना बंधुआरा, के आचे तुम्हारा। जीव जागो जीव जागो, गोरा चंदे बोले, कोटा निद्रा जागो माया, पिशाचेरा कोले। हे नीचे औषधि माया, नाशी भरो लागी, हरि नाम महामंत्रा, लाओ तुमी मागी। ए नीचे औषधि माया, नाशी भरो लागी, हरि नाम महामंत्रा, लाओ तुमी मागी। जीव जागो जीव जागो, गोरा छंदे बोले, कोटा निद्रा जागो माया, पिशाचेरा कोले। बकति विनोधा प्रभु, चरणे पारिया, से हरि नाम मंत्रा, लोइलो मोगिया। बकति विनोदा प्रभु, चरणे पारिया, से हरि नाम मंत्रा, लोइलो मोगिया। जीव जागो जीव जागो, गोरा चंदे बोले, कोटा निद्रा जागो माया, पिशाचेरा कोले। यशोमती नंदन ब्रज बरो नागर, गोकुल रंजन काना, यशोमती नंदन व्रजवर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना गोपी परनधन मदन मनोहर गोपी परनधन मदन मनोहर कालिया दमन विदाना कालिया दमन विदाना यशोमती नंदन ब्रजवर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना आमाल हरिनाम अमिय विलासा आमल हरिनाम अमिय विलासा विपिन पुरंदरा नवीन नगर वर विपिन पुरंदरा नवीन नगर वर वंशी बदान सुवासा वंशी बधान सुवासा यशोमती नंदन ब्रजभर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना ब्रज जन पालन असुर कुल नाशन ब्रज जन पालन असुर कुल नाशन नंद गोदन रखवाला नंद गोदन रखवाला गोविंद माधव नवनीत तस्कर गोविंद माधव नवनीत तस्कर सुंदर नंद गोपाला सुंदर नंद गोपाला यशोमती नंदन ब्रजवर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना यशोमती नंदन ब्रजवर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना यमुना तटचर गोपी बसन हर यमुना तटचर गोपी बसन हर रास रसिक कृपा मोया रास रसिक कृपा मोया श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नट भर श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नट भर भक्ति विनोदोयाश्राया भक्ति विनोदोयाश्राया यशोमती नंदन ब्रजभर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना गोकुल रंजन काना
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna, Sukirti Madhavi.
Amren Gaurdas.
And we welcome you for this live question and answer session, Sunday evening, the best time for discussing Bhagavad Gita and the doubts related to Bhagavad Gita. So we are very, very happy that you have taken your time and you have joined on this wonderful Sunday evening for this question and answer session. We have a list of questions here in front of us. So the first question what we are taking is by Mr. Manoj Kumar Gupta. And he is asking, can we pluck tulasi on Sunday or not? Please provide the reference. So Manojji, we can pluck tulasi on Sunday. And so there is no reference needed for that because we can pluck tulsi on Sunday.
The only restriction is about plucking tulsi on Dwadashi day,
Dwadashi,
so we
yes.
should not do that.
Good. Going to the next question by R. Akash. Hare Krishna, you told that we should not do anything with the mind thinking about the result. Then we wear face mask with the result that we should not get COVID. Are there exemptions in such situations? Okay, Akash, so that is an interesting question and a good question to begin with. So actually we have read the list of question and answer. There are many such questions because I guess last we discussed about duty and responsibility and especially the verse number Karmani Karaste, verse number 47 of chapter 2, and many of you are having this doubt. So we will taking up one by one. So talking about this particular question. So we wear mask, yeah, we take precautions. We take lot of precautions for various things, like when we are in the terrace, we are taking precaution not to like fall off from the terrace. So all those things are there. So these comes towards our responsibility towards our body. So we have a body and protection of the body is also our responsibility or duty. So we have to protect that body, identifying that this body is given to me by Krishna and I want to engage this body in the service of Krishna. So that is the mindset. And then talking about this result COVID, so the point is that we do not get too much affected mentally, emotionally, like we don't get psyched out if a person is COVID or if a person has any problem in life. So that is a different way, like how do we handle when we are in a difficulty. But then yes, protecting our body is our responsibility and we do that. So not that there are some exemptions, always we have to protect our body also so that the body can be utilized in the service of Krishna. I hope that answers your question.
Next question is by Krishna Kumar Tamil Selvam. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Bhagavad Gita 2.25. How infinite Supreme Soul is present inside the finite material body? So Krishna Kumar, you have answered your question by posting the question. Infinite Supreme Lord is infinite, so he is similarly infinite in his abilities, capabilities, and therefore we can see that how despite being infinite he can be present within the finite body also. Okay, so that is possible for the Lord can do whatever we can do, and Lord can do much more than we cannot even do. Okay, next question is by Harisha. Hare Krishna, I started reading Krishna book. That is very, very good. This interest came just by attending your courses, but now I have one doubt. So that is fine. When we read, there a lot of questions may arise in our mind. When Kansa is going to kill Devaki, and after listening to voice from the sky, Vasudev pacifies Kansa by telling so many things about the body. Like, one who takes birth will definitely die, and what are the activities we perform in this life will lead to our next life, and so on. But why not Vasudev pacify himself? That one who has taken birth and will have to die, now it is Devaki's turn to leave his body. Please clarify. If this question seems too foolish, ignore it. Thanks, Hare Krishna. So there is no question which is foolish. If that doubt has come, we can always seek answer. So actually part of the question also was answered by Sukirti. We have this body and we have a responsibility towards this body, and we see in this case that Vasudev was just married, and of course he had not only responsibility towards his own body but also towards his wife. Now Devaki was his duly wedded wife, and of course as a husband it was his responsibility to accord her all protection. Number one. Number two, we also see that Devaki was the younger sister of Kans, and actually the religious principles say that one should actually protect the younger sibling as one would protect his own child. So that is the principle of dharma, and we see here that Kans is being so cruel, shameless, that he is at such an auspicious time of his younger sister's marriage, he is just to protect his own body, he's willing to kill her, right? So it is not Vasudev, it is not Devaki who said that I'll kill you. There was an Akashvani that, one of the future sons of Devaki will kill him. So now Kans is willing to kill his younger sister. So that was completely against the principles of dharma. And so an intelligent person, so please understand this principle. So an intelligent person should try to avoid dangerous situations as far as he can. But despite his best efforts, if he is not able to avoid dangerous position, then there is no fault in him. So that is the principle that we should understand and lead our life with.
So moving to the next question by Kalpati Ramu Seshadri. The question says, yes, it is ideal not expect the fruits of your labor and to keep doing your duty with your mind focused in the service of the Supreme Lord. But it is seen that a bird goes about everywhere to find a worm for its young ones or twigs to build its nest. A farmer toils in the hot sun, plows his field to cultivate crops and sell the produce. Similarly, we also do work with the idea of earning a livelihood to take care of our family. Duty or responsibility towards ourselves, our family is swadharma and is prescribed in the scriptures. But when we become self-centered or selfish and start to accumulate the wealth without proper purpose, it becomes a sin. Every industry works towards making profit in business, and we are also involved in this when we work there for our livelihood. There are targets to be met and we are asked to work harder. Bonus or incentive are given for achieving the targets. Please clarify then what is meant by doing one's duty without expecting the fruit or result. Does it mean we neglect Swadharma and be focused only on Sanatan Dharma? Okay, Kalpati, it was a long question. I mean, the question was one line, but with a long justification of what you feel is right. So yeah, so you are trying to tell that people are engaged in so many activities, and those activities they do because they are bound by results. So yes, that is there. Now, if we have to, like your last line is the question where you are asking, please clarify what is meant by doing one's duty without expecting the fruit or result. So now, one does not expect the fruit or result, but that does not mean that one does not take care of the family. Like if a person is working from say Monday to Friday for full month, 4 weeks, and then at the end of the month, of course, he earns a salary, of course, he gets the money. But the point what we are talking here is because we are getting so over ambitious. So the question is not that whether one should work or not work, but that mindset that, okay, so I'm working and I want more and more and more. So that tendency to have more, because how do we know what more is enough? So a person who's working, like you are talking about taking care of the family. So yes, one is taking care of the family, but then we need to question ourselves that also, that whatever we are earning and whatever we are making money for ourselves, is that really required to maintain the family, or it is much more beyond the maintenance of the family? And because I have the tendency to hoard money or to enjoy, like Krishna says, bhog and aishwarya, so I have so much need to enjoy the sense gratification that to fulfill that need I am pushing myself harder and harder, and as a result I do not get time for my spiritual activities. So that is a question which we need to answer, that am I doing my job or my business or my studies or whatever at the cost of my spiritual life? So the whole point is about balancing Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. So now why we are talking about balancing is because we all are quite capable in taking care of our body. So we don't have to emphasize there. But the point is, are we taking care of our body at the cost of our soul? Are we doing that? So that is how it makes it skewed, and that is where we have to become alarmed. Yes, I mean, some amount of money is required to run the family, some amount of entertainment. Even Krishna says that you have to balance your work, your entertainment and your living. So yes, some amount is required, but is that much required for which we are so eager that we, like if I'll ask you, so we have a lot of people watching this session, if I ask you, how many of you are chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Because whenever I ask, one very common question, one very common reason is I do not have time. Why? If I'm a housewife, I don't have time because there is so much work at home. If I'm a student, there is so much study pressure, I do not have time. If I'm working somewhere, I have so much to perform in my office and to travel in the transportation and other things and taking care of my family, I don't have time to chant. If I'm a retired person, yet I have so many responsibilities, I have to take care of my grandchildren, taking them to tuition and different classes, etc. I don't have time to chant. So, my dear friends, if we do not have time to chant 16 rounds, because that is the minimum which is prescribed. So, if we don't have time to chant, then we have to gradually reduce our other activities so that we make out time to chant. So, unless we are chanting, unless we are, otherwise we do not advance. So, the whole game is about balancing. So, nobody is asking you to resign from your job and sit at home and just chant. What we are reminding you, out of 24 hours, please take out 2 hours for Krishna. And that is how you would be balancing the thing. So hope that answers your question.
Imagine what you're saying, Sugita, is 2 hours for spiritual life and balance 22 hours for everything.
22 hours, yes.
So actually, one way you see it is still not balanced, just if you look at the numbers. But anyways.
So hope that answers the question. Moving to the next question by Vijay Anand.
Vijay Anand, I have a general question regarding chanting. I vow to chant 16 rounds daily, but the fact is, in a typical day where there is no office pressure or any personal issue, I am able to do 16 rounds in a day. Is there, if any work issue or personal issue, then automatically my chanting rounds come down, and I involve in sense enjoyment watching random videos, etc., to escape from that burden. Can you please suggest how can I motivate me always to chant 16 rounds regardless of my material situation?
So Vijay, so see, something like this, we were just now discussing that when it comes to chanting, we do not feel so encouraged or enthusiastic, though we know, like we discussed in the last session, 41st verse from Bhagavad Gita, Vyavasayatmika buddhi, that single-minded focus that only Krishna consciousness is the solution for my way out, that is the perfect solution. So now Vijay is writing that though he wants to chant 16 rounds, he has that desire to chant 16 rounds, and yet because there are so many distractions. So if I am irresolute in purpose, then my intelligence is many branched. That is what Krishna says. And this is what we are seeing here in this question. So this is what happens many, many times. So that is why Krishna is laying so much emphasis on working, on doing things, but not getting attached to the result. So anyway, so coming back to this question, so how can I motivate me to always chant 16 rounds regardless of my material situation? So Vijay, see, there are so many things in our life for which we commit and we don't turn back. Like I'm not sure how old are you, but if you have a child and the child may not want to go to school, generally children, especially in their nursery and KG and first standard, they are not very enthusiastic about going to school. They look forward to staying at home. But then parents understand that this is good for them, that the child goes to school. So initially the child may cry, he may create a lot of tantrums, but yet parents ensure that the child goes to school. So similarly, our mind is like a very, very rebellious and naughty child, and it wants to do so many other things. But when we are convinced about the philosophy, when we are convinced about our goal in life, then we would put in all our efforts in that direction to achieving our goal. So, like for example, there are these athletes. Like there was this movie which came few years back, Dangal. So in that they were showing that how the hero of the movie wanted to train his daughters to become, what was that? Wrestlers, yeah. So wanted to become wrestlers. And then these girls, they had so many things. They wanted to eat pani puri. They wanted to use a lot of cosmetics and look good, and so many desires, girly things they had. But the father would keep correcting them and would not allow them till the time finally she becomes successful and she enters into the team. I mean, it's based on the real life incident. So the whole point is that if we have a goal in mind, so now how that character could force so much to become a wrestler is because they had a goal, they had a vision. They knew where they want to go. Similarly, those who are participating in Olympics, now years of practice. It is not just 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. It is not that they don't want to enjoy life, but then they have to live life in such a very, very disciplined manner. Why? Because they know that they have a goal. They are progressing towards that goal. So that is Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. So similarly, in the same way, we have to get convinced about chanting. Now, how do we get convinced about chanting? There are scriptures which talks about the glories of the holy name. There are devotees who are chanting 16 rounds and more. So if we take association, if we start spending some time with them on a regular basis, then what happens? Because they are chanting, so we also feel inspired. So the whole point is that we have to create a favorable environment around us, and then we would start chanting. So yeah, so reading helps, devotee association helps, eating Krishna Prasad helps. So listening to some lectures about chanting, about the holy name, about the glories of holy name, that helps to maintain that enthusiasm. So hope that answers the question. We would move to the next question by
Hina Valsan. Prabhuji mentioned you will have a son in your next birth. Does the reference to son mean rewarded with a child, or is this gender preference a little biased? So, of course,
when did you mention you have a son?
no, I was saying that there are people who do different vratas and do
Okay,
different
okay.
things for
Okay,
desire of a child or desire of a son. So we will see that earlier times that the kings were actually particularly keen to have a son because they were ruling a kingdom. They wanted a higher to the kingdom. They wanted a crown prince who can take up their responsibilities. And then usually the king would retire to ascetic life. He'll probably retire from the kingdom, go to jungle, and then spend the last part of his life thinking and worshipping the Supreme Lord, perfecting his life. So, so that's why there are references where specifically there are yagyas, pujas defined to have a son. So that is from that context I was saying. Of course, parents can desire a son, parents can desire a girl, boy or a girl, or parents can just desire a child. So it was not from that perspective, but in that context, I made that statement. So next question is by Vanapalli Venkataramana. Can we perform puja to Tulsi Maharani on Sundays? Yes, you can perform worship of Tulsi Maharani on every day of the week. Next question is by Padmavati. Why the name of second chapter called as Sankhya Yoga? So you'll notice that Srila Prabhupada has described this chapter as the contents of Gita summarized. Of course, this chapter, a significant part of this chapter is dedicated to Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga means philosophy or the knowledge given by Lord about the soul. So that is usually what Sankhya indicates. Sankhya indicates that the philosophy describing soul. So your question is, if for the number of
an alternative, is it because of this or because of this?
No, so I think I've answered the question.
It has been answered, yeah.
Okay,
moving
so
to the next question by Hina Vilasan. What are the memory verses? Valsan, sorry. Hina Valsan. What are the memory verses from the previous classes? Could you provide us a summary that we can make a note of? So in chapter number 2, the memory verses from the last section is shloka number 40, 41 and 47. And we will send the memory verses so far what we have covered from entire first and second chapter in the WhatsApp group. We'll send all the numbers.
Yeah, so we request Vrajbhubi Mataji to make a note of this and to identify all the key verses, memory verses, and also the upcoming homework verses. If she can share it on all the groups, so we will be very grateful to her. Okay, so next question is by Rajat Mishra. What does equanimous mean? So I think actually
the word used was equanimity.
Equanimity, I hope that you're referring to that word. Equanimity means that one acts in a balanced way. Balance between the duties towards his body and duties towards his soul.
And not affected by the dualities.
Yeah. So not getting disturbed, because a lot of people are saying, okay, let's move on. So your follow-up question is, how do we come to know what action is desirable to attain moksha? So we know that moksha is attained by grace of the Lord and by the permission of the Lord. So what action is desirable? Bhagavad Gita recommends Bhakti Yoga. Although there are 4 yoga processes, Karma Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Ashtang Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, Krishna describes all these yoga systems, and then he spends a lot of time explaining about Bhakti Yoga. Then he personally recommends Bhakti Yoga, he personally glorifies Bhakti Yoga, and then that's what Arjuna chose. So I guess if we also accept the advice of Krishna, follow the example of Arjun, then naturally we should follow Bhakti Yoga.
So moving to the next question by Payal. As you said, our spiritual accounts get accumulated over our births. Like this birth 20%, then next birth starts as 21. So this gives assurance that we will have spiritual life in our coming births till we reach 100%. Once 100% achieved, moksha confirmed. So that's the question. So Payal, I have a good news for you. Once you achieve 100%, you would get something which is beyond moksha. So there is actually something which is beyond moksha also. And that beyond moksha thing is having a very sweet relationship with the Supreme Lord and going to the planet where he resides. So we will all have the opportunity to accept Lord in one or the other relationship, have an active, sweet relationship with the Supreme Lord and stay with him. So just not like getting out of this cycle of birth and death, but also achieving a relationship with the Supreme Lord.
So we'll further continue to discover more and more gradually. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Shali Lakhera. Hare Krishna, as per the verse, Krishna puts emphasis on control of senses and material opulences. But if he has given us 5 senses, how do we know that which using those senses for enjoyment, when and where to stop? If someone aims for a good house, lavish lifestyle, what is wrong in that? What we are doing our devotional services and leading the path of righteousness, then how and why having such inclination is wrong? How to put control in our desire? So your name is Shali. Shali, okay, sorry, please forgive me. Why don't we see it from a perspective that, for example, that's the difference between love and what is not love. Okay, so for example, if I tell a person I love you, but while making that statement, I am also looking for opportunities that how can I enjoy, right? So by saying that person I love you, or I love him, but in the meanwhile I'm looking for, yeah, okay, he's very rich, so I'll have a lot of facilities, I'll have the access to whatever, so much facility. So then it is not exactly true pure love. So I'm just sharing this particular mindset. Whereas if you look at, although pure love is not to be found in the material world, but something close to it is love of a mother towards the child. So when the child is born, mother tirelessly and the father, both parents tirelessly, they serve the child. They don't have any expectation from the child, but they just tirelessly serve the child out of their love for the child. So similarly, when we say that, we have 5 senses and, what is, if someone aims for a good house, lavish lifestyle, what is wrong with that? So there is, see, why do we need lavish lifestyle? For what purpose? To enjoy the senses. And these senses, this body will go away. After 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, 40 years, it will go away. Then we'll get another body. Then we'll continue to enjoy that body. Then we'll leave it and then we'll get another body. So the point is that till the time I have this mentality, it's very difficult to, till the time I want to use my senses for enjoyment, Krishna will continue to bless us. Okay, you want to enjoy more? Okay, no problem. Next birth. You want to again enjoy your body, your senses? You want to do? Yes, I want to do. Okay, next birth. Then next birth. So birth, death, old age, disease will continue. That is how we are in this material world since time immemorial. We have taken millions and millions and billions and trillions of births. Right? So the point is, Krishna is saying, see, you are suffering so much, birth, death, old age, all this, so much problem, and you cannot really have lavish lifestyle. What lavish lifestyle can we have? Or for example, how much good house can we have? Krishna is saying, come with me to spiritual world. I will show you what is real lavishness and what is real good house. The houses are made of gold and emeralds and rubies and lapis lazuli and all those precious and stones, and the stones are what?
Kalpatra.
Chintamani stones. They are wish fulfilling stones. They are wish fulfilling trees. So Krishna wants to take us to a far superior place. So that is where, if our focus changes, our focus shifts, then all these things don't remain so significant. So I will not say there is anything wrong in that, but we must understand the consequences. If I make this choice, what is the consequence? If I make the other choice, what is the consequence? After we have understood the consequences, Krishna is given free will, choose whatever we feel is right. So I will tell you one thing. We have different senses. Senses require some enjoyment. We cannot survive without some enjoyment. So, but we do that by first offering it to Lord, by expressing it our gratitude. Like we want to eat tasty food. Who is here who will say, no, always, every day, 3 meals a day, I want to eat tasteless food? No one is like that. We want to eat tasty food. So what do? So I will cook nice bhoga, offer to Krishna, puris, paneer sabji, pizza, burger, I don't know, whatever is tasty to you. I am talking about things that I may like, but whatever is tasty to you, maybe whatever. So we offer it to Krishna, fruits, and then we honor it as Mahaprasad, as the mercy of the Lord. So we can do that. When we have a nice house, if we have a nice house, I know a devotee. This devotee is a successful businessman, and when he was buying a house, his first concern was that where will I have my deity room? And he has dedicated one entire room of his house. We can understand, no, so much money we have to spend for a house. So he has a very nice house in a very nice community, built, gated community, and one entire room he has dedicated to his deities, where there are separate almirahs for the deity dresses. There is a dedicated air conditioner just for the deities, and first class arrangement. Very nice marble, everything is very nice, right? So you see the consciousness? The consciousness is like that. So he understands that Lord is the master of this house, not me. And that is not just lip service. He lives by that principle. And if you are willing to do that, then there's no problem.
Actually, I can think of a little funny example here to explain or give a little insight in the situation. So it's like, Shally, again, I don't know how old are you, but let's assume if you are married and you have a husband, and your husband says that, my dear Shally, I love you so much. My weekends are all yours. Saturday, Sunday, whatever you say, I'll do. But Monday to Friday, I have my office colleagues and I really have fun with them. And I want to go out after my office hours with those colleagues. But Saturday, Sunday, it is completely for you. But simultaneously, I have so much love in me and I want to share with others. So these colleagues of mine, they are like wonderful ladies and I want to spend some time with them. So how would we feel? Okay, my husband on one side, he is telling that he loves me so much, but then simultaneously, he has the desire to enjoy with other women also. So just something like this, where we are having a desire to be with Krishna and simultaneously I have some other desires also. So I want a lavish house for me. I want to go on a vacation for me, or I have so many other things, other desires for me, of which Krishna is not the part. So if you are making Krishna the part, like how Prabhupada was giving this example of a devotee's house who has a room and dedicated to Krishna. So yes, he has a lavish house, But then Krishna is the focus of that lavish house. He says that that is Krishna's house. So if we are accepting things as Krishna's blessings, and even if those things are not there, still we are happy just with Krishna, then that is true love. Otherwise, I may have desire to serve Krishna, but then my desires are so contaminated with other desires also.
Shanti is saying it is not wrong to have desires. No, the desire, you cannot stop having desires. The only point is what desires you are having. You see, there is a difference between, there are two kinds of citizens in our country. There is a criminal and there is a law-abiding citizen. And both of them have desires. But both of them have different desires. That criminal has different desires. He wants to murder someone. He wants to rob someone. He wants to, commit abuse. But a law-abiding citizen wants to follow the law and live his life peacefully. So both of them having desires, but the nature of desires are completely different. This is what we are talking about. Okay.
So moving to the next question by Shivani Mankar. Hare Krishna, I am a student and I really get this question always where it is mentioned that our ultimate goal is liberation and devotion for Supreme Lord, which I totally believe in. But as a student, I have certain ambitions and goals to achieve. So is it wrong to have the need to fulfill my desires and also at the same time grow spiritually to build a strong relationship with the Supreme Lord? No, Shivani, it is not at all wrong. It is perfect. As a student, yes, whatever you are learning, whatever you are gaining, whatever your desires are, if you are aligning in Krishna consciousness and if your long-term goal is that, yes, one day I'll become popular, one day I'll be successful, and people come and ask me what is the secret for your success, and I tell them, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So then you will become a preacher for Lord Krishna. So that is not wrong. But then we should see that our spiritual life does not take a back seat because of our over ambitious nature. So that is a little personal check which each one of us has to, we have to balance, we have to monitor, and each one of us alone is the person who can monitor honestly that where am I slipping back, like is my spiritual life taking a back seat. So I am the judge who can decide that. So hope that is clear. There is no problem. What you have asked, there is no problem. It's very nice.
Okay, next question is by Dr. Leena Gowda. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji. It's a great honor to be associated with you all and Supreme Lord. I am blessed to be part of Study Gita. Hare Krishna, thank you. My question is, I have become more positive and changed my views, the way I look at life. I have started wearing Tulsi Mala. I don't remove it and you should not. And Krishna Chandan Tilak, can I wear Tulsi Mala always? Yes, you can. Gopi Chandan Tilak always? Yes, you can. Is there any rule to be followed while wearing Tulsi Mala and Gopi Chandan? Please clarify. Leena ji, there is no such rule that we are aware of. Of course, we should try and lead a devotional life. See, the point is wearing Tulsi Mala and wearing Chandan indicates that we are offering respects to the feet of the Lord by placing it on our forehead, placing them on the forehead, and we are offering respects to Tulsi Maharani, which is at the lotus feet of the Lord. So when we are offering such respect and we are willing to do it always, which means that we should follow other instructions of the Lord also, like chanting the holy names and following the regulative principles, right? So then it is, because these are symptoms of a devotee. So if we are decorating ourselves with the symptom of devotee, which means heart also should be devotional.
Here in the chat window, I see Sibani is wishing us Hare Krishna. So actually Sibani's father-in-law passed away yesterday, and I am so happy to see that she is here for the question and answer session. And I request, I request all the participants, let's all chant one time together for Sibani's father-in-law's smooth journey onward.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Our prayers, Sibani. Hare Krishna. So moving to the next question by Roja Rao. Hare Krishna, is it okay to chant without the beads? Initially, I did not have the beads and was chanting by counting on my fingers. Was it wrong? Roja Rao, it is not wrong to chant without the beads because you did not have the beads. You were, see, the purpose is that we count, and counting also because it brings a discipline in us. Otherwise, Krishna's names are all powerful and all it can give us is positivity. So it will not do anything wrong in our life, no matter how we are chanting the holy names. So that is why Namnam Akari Bahudani Sarva Shakti Tatra Pita Niyamitah Smaranena Kalaha. Krishna has invested all his personal energies in this holy name, and there are no hard and fast rule for chanting these holy names. The only point we chant on the beads is because we maintain a count. And secondly, we chant on Tulasi beads, so we give an honor to Tulasi because Tulasi is the devotee of the Lord. And thirdly, because our senses are engaged, like our sense of touch is engaged in rolling the beads, so we are able to concentrate in a better way.
And of course, our acharyas have also taught us to chant on the beads.
Yes.
So, yes, so they have said personal example, their own personal example. Okay, so next question is by Vijay Anand. We have already taken a question from him.
Yeah, so we will see if at the last of the time is there, we'll come back to this question.
Okay, next question is by Vijay Lakshmi Mukundan. It is a question from my son who is 28-year-old and shortly getting married. He just started reading Srimad Bhagavatam in English. This is his question. I see 3-4 lines of shlokas followed by an explanation. What should I read? The shlokas along with the explanation, or the shlokas or only the explanation? Though it is not related to GME, GMC, can you enlighten? Vijay Lakshmi ji and your son, our advice is that of course we want to read scripture, but the purpose of reading scripture is also to understand and contemplate and apply in our lives. So unless we read the meaning, we'll not really know what we are doing. So my suggestion is that yes, you can read the shloka, but also we read the translation. So if you notice, there is a shloka, then there is a translation, and then there is a purport. Right, so there is no hurry that we should complete everything very quickly. So we should gradually go read the translation, and that translation, the verse is then explained in detail in the purport. So there are comments. How do we understand this? So all that is important. We should read that and contemplate, and of course gradually move on to other verses. Next question is by Payal.
Hare Krishna. Krishna asked Arjun to perform his duty and also asked him to be detached with the result or fruit, as well as to get detached from relatives.
Some questions from.
But as we are living in this world, we have to perform our duties, grihastha. I am a housewife, mother, so for me, my duty and responsibility toward my family is my first priority. How is it possible for a person like me to get detached from my family and get more closer to God and improve my spiritual life? Sometimes I think when God wanted us to be detached from this material world and have a devotional and spiritual life, why did he create this Srishti itself? Okay, Payal, so there are few parts of your question. So one part is, how is it possible for a householder to become detached from the family life and get closer to Lord and improve my spiritual life? So Payal, you being a housemaker, you have a very, very important responsibility on your shoulders. If you decide, you can make your whole entire family Krishna conscious. It is in your hands. Now you may ask why. So because the homemaker is actually the Annapurna. You cook and others get food to eat. So if you decide that you will serve Krishna Prasadam to your family, that whatever you will cook, first you will offer to Krishna and then only it will be served to your husband or to your son. So now what you are doing? You are taking their spiritual life to the next level. So it's so easy and only you can do. If your husband decides, he may not be able to do because he goes out, he does not cook at home. So if he decides, he can't make the family Krishna conscious. But if you decide, you can actually do that. Second thing, when you are talking about, you said that your first priority is where did that line go? So for me, duty and responsibility towards my family is my first priority. So yes, so your duty and responsibility towards your family is your first priority. Now, what is the most important duty towards your family? Your most important duty towards your family is to see that somehow or the other they become Krishna conscious. So that is your
At
duty.
least you provide an environment which is inspiring to them.
Yes. So that is your responsibility. So are you doing that? Are you sitting and you have not mentioned how old is your son, but if he's a small boy, are you sitting and reading some Krishna stories with him? Are you watching some Krishna conscious videos or cartoons with him? So how are you helping in advancement of your child's Krishna consciousness? So when you would do that, you will see you don't have to make separate effort. Just by doing this particular duty, your Krishna consciousness would increase. Because then constantly you would be thinking, this thought would be there in your mind, how can I inspire, not force, not force. How can I inspire positively that my husband becomes Krishna conscious or he progresses, or how my son progresses? So that becomes the focus. So that way you are Krishna conscious and the whole family in turn becomes Krishna conscious. So that is the first part. And the second part, you have also asked that sometimes I think when God wanted us to be detached from his material world and have a devotional and spiritual life, why did he create this Srishti itself? So God created this because we wanted it. We wanted to enjoy separately from the Supreme Lord. We are like his rebellious children. We wanted to enjoy. So God said, okay, if this is what you want, go ahead. So that is how we are.
Okay, so the next question is by Renu. What should I do if I had a dream of broken the Krishna's idol? Renu, dreams sometimes can be weird. All we can do is chant Hare Krishna and pray to the Lord. Simple advice. Sneha T, Hare Krishna. In GMC, while discussing chapter 1, we saw that the conch shell was gifted by Indradev to Arjun. When I was reading Srimad Bhagavatam from Veda Base 1.12.21, in that it was mentioned that Mayasura was the one who gifted the Devadatta conch shell to Arjun. So could you please clarify? Thank you. Sneha, I think you have asked this question earlier also, and we saw this question later and you asked it again, which it has not been answered. So yeah, so I'm aware of this particular reference in Bhagavatam. This is also described in Mahabharata. But at the same time, elsewhere there is a slightly different explanation also given, and we refer to the other explanation. So apparently both the things have been mentioned, and we have seen your question. We are, if there is a resolve, we'll share it with you. Priya, Hare Krishna, Jivatma and Paramatma reside in this body. Then why do we pray to other gods in deity or other forms? See, praying to other gods, I don't know what you mean. Praying to other gods mean praying to other personalities other than Paramatma. See, now we need to understand that Paramatma, Krishna, Rama, Narasimha, they're all one person. They're all same person. Because Paramatma is also known as Shirodakshay Vishnu. Shirodakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Mahavishnu are all expansions of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So they are all the same person. So we can, of course, Paramatma is residing in our heart, but we have no realization. We have no realization of Paramatma. And the scriptures prescribe that we worship the form of the Lord. Right? So there is a prescription in the Panchratrika Vidhi, for example. This is described elaborately that how we do Archana. How do we worship the deity? So it is all part of the Vedic system that we can worship. Now, if you're talking about other gods who is not the Supreme Lord, so that is done by people, I mean, those who don't accept the supremacy of the Supreme Lord or of Paramatma, and they have so many material desires, so they tend to worship somebody else. Okay, so next question is by Nagesh Moholkar. How do we find the correct bona fide spiritual master for advancing spiritual world? In this current period of Kali Yuga, lots of fraud babas, sages are there who take unfair advantage of people, steal their money, harass and misbehave with young women under the name of devotion. I completely agree with you, Nagesh. People as well, due to their difficult situation, have to keep faith on such sages, hoping that their problems will resolve, but get trapped in a situation from which they cannot get out. Correct? So how to find a correct bona fide spiritual master? So Nagesh, there is a beautiful verse, I think, which we have already put on the slide. It's for you. You can take a screenshot. This verse is from Padma Puran, and it says, Sampradaya vihina ye mantraste nishvala mataha ataha kalau bhavishyanti chatvara sampradayina. So it says that the verse that I was reading is not here. Okay, the verse is not here, but the translation is there. So it says, the Padma Purana explains, unless one is initiated by bona fide spiritual master in the disciplic succession, the mantra he might have received is without any effect. So, Sampradaya vihina ye mantras te nishvala mata. So, if you are chanting a mantra and that has not been received in a bona fide Guru Parampara, so that mantra will have no fruit. Sampradaya vihina ye mantra se nishvala mata. So, there will be no fal or fruit from chanting of such a mantra. And in Kali Yuga, there are 4 sampradayas which have arrived. So that is there. This
actually, only the first 2 lines of the mantra is not there.
Yeah. So the second line is there on your screen. Shri Brahma Rudra Sanaka Vaishnava Kshiti Pavana Chatvaraste Kalau Bhavya He Utkale Purushottama. So it says that the 4 personalities from which these Vaishnava Sampradaya descended were Shri, Brahma, Rudra and Sanaka. So Shri refers to Lakshmi Devi, Brahma refers to Brahma, Lord Brahma, Rudra refers to Lord Shiva, and Sanaka refers to the 4 Kumaras. So from these, the 4 disciplic successions descended in Kali Yuga. So Lord Brahma chose Madhvacharya, Lord Shiva chose Vishnu Swami, and 4 Kumaras chose Nimbarka, whereas Ramanujacharya was chosen by Lakshmi Devi. And these are the founder, in the sense they are the most prominent acharyas of these sampradayas. So as far as ISKCON is concerned, we come in Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya. So in our Sampradaya, it starts from Brahma, then Madhvacharya, and then Lord Chaitanya. So we are in this particular disciplic succession. So if you're looking for bona fide spiritual master, ISKCON is a safe place, right? Here we will not find fraud babas and sages, as you are mentioning here. Okay, so next question is by Smita.
Sanatan Dharma means duty towards soul. I want to clarify. Yes, Smita, Sanatan Dharma means duty towards soul. Going to the next question by Mahati Shetty, how to distinguish duty from responsibility?
Question.
Yeah, I mean, it is just the word meaning you want us to explain, or...
So duty means, if you're just looking at words, duty means that what is indicated by the scriptures, okay? What is prescribed, what we should be doing based on our gunas. Responsibility means that as a duty, like for example, duty of a Kshatriya, we discussed about the duty of Kshatriya to protect the citizens, to use force if required for maintenance of law and order. And the responsibility on the field, Arjuna was to fight this war and should not give up that responsibility. So that's how we can understand. Okay, next question is by Swaminathan. My query is regarding the Sankhya Yoga mentioned in text 39 of chapter 2 by Lord. What is the difference between the Sankhya Yoga philosophy explained by the impostor Kapila and the Sankhya Yoga explained by Lord Krishna to Arjuna? So, Mr. Swaminathan, I think we have already gone through in great detail about the Sankhya Yoga mentioned by Krishna to Lord Arjuna. That is the entire description of soul. Okay, so that we have already gone over, I think, in 3 sessions. We took our own time, went through with it in great detail. Now, as far as the impostor Kapila is concerned, he is actually an atheist. He is an atheist by the name of Kapila. He is a descendant from the dynasty of Agni, an ordinary soul. And what this fellow has done is, he has tried to analyze all the material elements in great detail, studying the different material elements in great detail, this material universe in great detail, and coming to a conclusion that there is no God, and this material nature itself is manifesting everything, and this nature is the cause of its all the manifestations. So he is very close to how the modern scientists think, right? They also have an atheistic view. They don't believe in God. They say that everything has come from nature, everything has come from chemicals, chemical reaction, things like that. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. Next question is by Mahalakshmi. Question 1. After every Chatur Mahayuga, Kalki Bhagwan will appear, and then in the next Chatur Yuga, also the same incarnations of Lord Krishna will appear. What happens in another universes? What happens in other universes? We don't have information. It is not described, but most likely Krishna will have a similar system in different universes. So that's what we can safely assume, that a similar system will be in the other universes as well. But that information is not available to us in the form of scriptures. Question number 2. I have heard that all the incarnations of Lord Krishna appear on earth. Vaman Dev appeared from Brahma's nostril, and that time earth was submerged into the water of netherworlds. So how do we understand that Vaman Dev appeared on earth? What we need to understand is that it was not Vaman Dev who went to rescue earth. It was Varaha Dev. He was a different incarnation, appeared at a different time. Okay.
I think Mahalakshmi is that Manaswini. She was asking questions.
Yeah. So I think there is a confusion between the two different incarnations, Varaha Dev and Vaman Dev. So I guess the moment we clarify the names, I'm sure your question, you'll not have a doubt. If you have, you can further write explaining your doubt. Okay, so next question is by Priya Vig.
Hare Krishna, in response to your reply as how we can take food there where non-veg is eaten.
When did we say anything?
Yeah, Priya, that part is not clear, that how we can take food when there where non-veg is eaten. I have a query. Actually, we do not take food from a place where non-veg is eaten or served. So like even if in difficult time, some challenging moment when you have to eat out and you're going to a restaurant, then at least choose a vegetarian restaurant. So we do not eat in the restaurant where non-veg food is also cooked or served.
And I mean, if it is too difficult, just have fruits, right? Just have fruits. That's all. So, but never step into a place which serve both.
The next question is by Kilambi Ramakrishna.
We, I think, handled one of his questions. No?
No.
Okay.
Regarding the verse 247, Karmani Vadhikaraste, how is it possible for a staunch competitor like an Olympic runner perform without an eye on his gold medal? So that is, actually I gave the example. What time did you ask the question? After?
No, it's a previous question.
So yeah, we were discussing that how Olympic runner has his eye on gold medal. Similarly, we have our eye on Golok Vrindavan, on serving the Supreme Lord and in association with his devotees. That is how we have our goal. Okay, so now your question is with reference to that verse, how a staunch competitor would win. So now here we need to understand that if, let's assume that this particular Olympic runner is a devotee also. So why he wants that gold medal? Why he wants to win that medal? If he is a devotee, then he would definitely have that desire that I win this medal, and when I become popular that way, and then I can preach to hundreds of people. Like in the coming session, in the next to next session, we will enter into chapter 3. And in chapter 3, there is a very beautiful verse. Yaj yaj acharati shreshthas, that whatever the leader does, a common man will follow. So we will see how Krishna instructs Arjun that do exemplary activities, because whatever the leader does, a common man would follow. So if this Olympic participant is also a devotee, and he knows that if he wins the battle, if he wins the race, he would actually become a leader. He'll come in a leader position, or what we call an influencer. He'll become an influencer, because then many people would follow him. They'll come and interview him. So what did you do? How did you win this competition? And apart from so many other things, he can actually preach about Krishna consciousness. So if that is how his mindset is, if that is what his attitude is, then yes, why not? Because then even the gold medal in Olympic becomes a channel for his service to the Supreme Lord. Okay. Moving to the next question.
My question by Ashrita Ravishankar is that Krishna is all attractive. If he was so attractive, then didn't anyone draw him? And in case they drew him, isn't there even a single original drawing of him which still exists? Ashrita, just try to understand what is the time scale we are talking. We're talking about 5,000 years. 5 followed by 3 zeros. So it's a long, really long time. And in fact, if you look at from the conventional history point of view also, there's not much historical evidence which is around of that time. So, but don't worry, there are so many descriptions of Krishna in the scriptures. So when even now you see that how come there is no drawing, but there are so many Krishna temples, and especially if you see ISKCON temple, always Lord Krishna will be there, right? So from where, how do we know that this is Lord Krishna? So the description is there in scriptures, that how does he look, how does he stand, and how are his hands, how are his legs, how are his lips,
nose,
decorates himself, how he decorates himself, jewelry, everything is described in scriptures. So there may not be a drawing, but there is a description, and that description we can receive through air, and then we have a very amazing mental picture. And you'll be amazed that ISKCON has such amazing paintings based on the scripture. So the artists, they are all devotees in ISKCON. They have studied the scriptures in detail, and based on the description, they will sit and they will draw the painting. So these ISKCON paintings are all bona fide paintings.
So moving to the last question of the day by Ashni Ravishankar. Hare Krishna, I am an engineering student and I daily chant 1 to 2 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra with full concentration. I want to chant a minimum of 16 rounds with full focus every day, but due to my busy schedule of my college, I am unable to create the time to do so. Please guide me. So Ashni, it is wonderful to see that you have that desire to chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It is wonderful. Now what I can tell you is, if you will start chanting the 16 rounds, then you will see that you have a lot of extra time for your studies also. It may sound contradictory, but this is how the devotee of the Lord, the more we progress towards Krishna, the more Krishna helps us. This is how we would become more skilled, we would become more focused. When we are studying, we would just study and the distractions would go up. So what I can suggest you is directly going from 2 rounds to 16 rounds may be a little difficult, but to start with, why don't you start doing 1 round every 4 or 5 hours, one round. So come to 4 rounds. So let's say morning 1 round, and then afternoon 1 round, then evening 1 round, and before you go to the bed 1 round. So come to 4. Let's take little baby steps. Once you are comfortable with these 4 rounds, time slot would be fixed. All you would have to do is, instead of 1, you start chanting 2 rounds. So 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the evening, and 2 at night. And that is how you will come to 8. So this is how gradually you can progress. And believe me, there are so many successful businessmen, like Alfred Ford is there. Now he is a ISKCON devotee. He is initiated by Srila Prabhupada. And apart from taking care of his business empire, he also chants 16 rounds. So there are so many such highly successful business magnates who are chanting 16 rounds. So it is not that the time is not there. It is just that we have to see what to cut off from the life. And then the time would come out. So start with this basic thing, that 4 rounds, you're chanting 2, make it 4, and that to spread it throughout the day rather than sitting at one time and chanting all the 4 rounds. Spread it so that you are doing it effortlessly. You want to add something? So with this, we have come to an end of our today's session. Looking forward to see all of you. We hope that all of you are the member of our Gita Mastery course. If not, kindly contact our WhatsApp number, which is written down here. So contact this WhatsApp number and join our Gita Mastery course, because there we are dealing with details of Bhagavad Gita. So looking forward to see all of you.
And if any one of you, your question, you have written your question, but your question has not been answered, don't lose hope. We have a team of devotees who try their best to answer your questions, and you will get answer soon enough.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.